Hey guys, it's Kevin, and this is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So I've been using this for about 6 months now. It doesn't sound like a long time, but I live in this crazy world where I switch phones often throughout the course of the year. The average person uses their phone for 2 to 3 years, maybe even longer. So 6 months is a long time for me to be using one phone. And the Galaxy S22 is my other phone, for those of you who don't know I'm a two-phone person. I've seen these longer term reviews on YouTube lately, so I thought I'd give it a try. I'll go over what I like, what I dislike, new features, and a look at the iPhone 14. So here's my iPhone 13 Pro Max review, 6 months later. So one of the things I look for in a phone is the design and build quality. If a phone looks good but feels cheap, then it probably won't become my main phone. And iPhones have a pretty good record of being both, except for the iPhone 3G, 3GS, and 5C, but you get the idea. I said this before in another video, but I don't use a case or a screen protector on my phone. The last one I used was in 2017, and since then, I only dropped my phone once. And the back glass cracked, and it was a non-iPhone. So for the past 6 months, this iPhone has been enjoying life like this. It's been in pockets, backpacks, car cup holders, and even this car cubby thing. I also place it face down on my mousepad or Apple polishing cloth, and toss it on my bed or couch. The front and back glass still look like new with some micro scratches that can only be seen in direct sunlight, but the stainless steel band is another story. There are a lot of scratches on the bottom, most likely from trying to plug in the lightning cable without looking for CarPlay, and the sides have some scratches from not carefully attaching and removing my gimbal mount. Other than that, it's held up pretty well. The screen on the 13 Pro Max has been great. I do find it a little big sometimes, but when I use the normal 13, I miss the bigger screen. The Super Retina XDR display is one of the most color accurate displays out there, and it makes everything I do on the phone a lot better. Whether it's scrolling through social media or taking photos and recording videos, the content looks true to life. The 6.7-inch screen allows me to see more content on the screen without having to scroll or zoom in as much. I do edit some of my YouTube thumbnails on the iPhone now since Pixelmator Pro added iPhone support. The colors are more accurate than Mini LED on my MacBook Pro and LED on my iPad Pro. Another thing I look for in a phone is high refresh rate. Apple's Pro phones now have ProMotion. The 120Hz display makes everything look smoother and feel faster. Most people can't tell the difference, but I notice these fine little things. Once you go high refresh rate, you can't go back. I first experienced high refresh rate on the OnePlus 7 Pro at 90Hz and a 120Hz display on the Galaxy Z Fold 2. So when Apple added ProMotion to the iPhone, it made me enjoy using the phone a lot more. Alright, the cameras are still really good. All of the videos I upload are recorded on an iPhone, or Galaxy. I record in 4K 30fps, the correct frame rate, and edit them in Final Cut Pro. I always thought you needed a fancy camera to create videos, but the iPhone does a pretty great job. I barely use slow-mo or cinematic mode since it's capped at 1080p, but after seeing how nice some of the shots can be, I'll definitely use it more. In iOS 15, Apple added support for ProRes. I haven't recorded any videos with it yet due to the large file sizes. Right now, I have a 256GB iPhone with 162GB available, and the amount of ProRes I can record is only 20 minutes. According to Apple, 1 minute of 10-bit HDR ProRes in 4K is about 6GB. Maybe I'll try it in a future video and offload clips as I go, but I do plan on getting a larger storage capacity for the next iPhone. The photos that the iPhone takes are consistent, 9 out of 10 every time. All of the photos I take are shot in ProRAW, and the file sizes are larger, ranging from 25 to 40 megabytes. But the photos are uncompressed, so I have more flexibility when editing them in Pixelmator Pro. They say the best camera is the one that's with you, and it's true. Performance feels just as fast as when I first got the phone. Again, iPhones have a good record of performing great 2 to 3 years down the road. Even my iPad Pro with the A12X chip from 2018 still performs well, but if I compare it to the iPhone's A15 Bionic, then it'll start to show its age. The 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU, and 6GB of RAM don't look great on paper compared to the competition with 8 cores and 12GB of RAM, but the iPhone will feel faster after several years. Thanks to the new A15 Bionic and ProMotion, the battery life, especially on the Pro Max, is incredible. This is a 2-day phone for me. Now it only has 4,352 mAh battery compared to the Galaxy S22 Ultra's 5,000 mAh battery, but both phones can last me 2 days on a single charge. According to the battery health settings, the maximum capacity is still 100%, after 6 months of owning this. I don't charge it overnight every single day, but it's every other day between 6 to 9 PM via the MagSafe dual charger. Alright, so iOS 15 wasn't at its full potential when it was first released. Apple announced some cool features during WWDC in June 2021, but they were added a month later in a software update, after iOS 15 was released to the public in September. This version of iOS wasn't a big update, but it did bring new features like the focus modes, redesigned notifications, live text, cross-app drag and drop, and more. I made a video about what's on my phone, so I'll put it in the cards and leave a link to it in the description box below. So for every 0.1 update, Apple added a couple new features as well as bug fixes. In iOS 15.1, they added SharePlay. I only used SharePlay once for watching a movie and it worked great. When someone pauses the video and turns on subtitles, it does it for everyone and everything stays in sync. You can also use it for listening to music and live text support. 15.2 added a macro control in the camera app, so instead of automatically switching depending on how close you are to the subject, you have full control. iOS 15 brought bug fixes, and 15.4 added support for Face ID with a mask and new emojis. There aren't many new crazy features these days, but every small one gets added to the same iOS we know and love. Now moving on to dislikes. I enjoy using this phone, but I didn't name it my phone of the year in 2021 due to a few things. First is Face ID. It doesn't work at different angles. Like if the phone is on your desk, then you need to lean over to get the sensors to scan your face and unlock it. Also, it doesn't unlock when the phone is sideways or upside down like the iPad Pro. And there's still no USB-C. Have you ever tried copying videos to a Mac over USB 2.0 or AirDrop? It's painfully slow. The notch is still there and the iPhone has the biggest one out of any other phone. If Apple fixes all of my nitpicks, then I'll definitely make the iPhone my phone of the year. Also, please make one in matte black. And that brings us to a look forward with the iPhone 14. There are rumors floating around pointing to a hole punch plus a pill-shaped cutout. It doesn't look nice, but at least people will know it's an iPhone. Other rumors include a faster chip, V16, cryogenic, or whatever they want to call it. There's also a larger camera bump for a higher megapixel camera, titanium side rails, completely portless, and no more iPhone mini models. Instead, the 2022 lineup will probably be the 6.1-inch iPhone 14 and 14 Pro, and 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Max and iPhone 14 Pro Max. As a reminder, these are only rumors. MKBHD once said, "Expectations are the thief of joy." Never get your hopes up based on rumors and leaks, because if you do, then you'll only end up being disappointed. So if you're in the market for a new iPhone, then I'd say wait until the iPhone 14 is announced in the fall. You already made it this far. But if you need one right now, then I would recommend any model in the iPhone 13 lineup. And that's it for my long-term review of the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!